Hello, hello, hello. How we doing? Everybody hear us?
I can hear.
Hello, hello. How we doing, y'all? Woo! Who's ready for some FC Cincinnati? Did I use the right? Is that a verb? What did I do there?
I think you have to it's as a preposition maybe or something. I don't know what figure of speech it is, but
All right. Well, guys, welcome to the 2023 Norden Supporters Group Scarf Release Party. Second annual, Chris?
Second annual, yeah, absolutely.
Well, we are very
Stoked
excited
to have you guys back.
Yeah. Real quick, guys. This is a very special event for us. We love coming here every year. Of course, sitting to my left, your right, we got our host of Cincinnati Soccer Talk, Boston Razzle Dazzle Brazzle. Say hi, Boston.
How you doing, folks?
I'm taking his intro. He normally writes out like a whole monologue, so I'm kind of stealing his thunder here. So hope he didn't pre-plan too much.
No, you're good.
All right. To my right, your left, we got the man, the myth, the legend, the man in the plaid suit tonight, Mr. Geoff Tebbets.
A beautiful man.
how's everybody doing tonight? We got a few weeks left. We need to have a little bit more energy in this place.
Our fourth partner in crime, Mr. Jason Ashcraft, is getting a beer. There he is. Hi, Jason. How you doing, buddy? Of course. Hi. And as I mentioned, my name's Bryan Weigel. I guess this is my 8th year podcasting about FC Cincinnati. So I'm hoping we can win some hardware this year, bring the first hardware back since the last year of USL. So we're excited for a great year for FC Cincinnati. So, but without further ado, we're here again at the Norden Supporters Group Scarf Release Party. Chris Marshall, you're the president?
I am the president. So
tell us a little bit about Norden.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, everyone, welcome. Welcome to Grainworks. This is one of our partner bars here in Westchester. And I also want to say, before we talk about Norden, Cincinnati Soccer Talk is the OG, the original people that have been telling our FC Cincinnati story since before our team really even took the field. And so a big thank you to you guys.
Well, thank you
for what you've meant to us.
Thank you guys very, very much.
Again, before anybody was telling our story, these guys were telling our story. And here we are. Look at us now. Look at us. So today it's a huge deal for us because not only are we releasing our new scarves for this year, you can become a member right back here in the corner. If you've already ordered online, we have your pickup can happen in the back. We are super excited that today is not just our scarf release, but this is a charity night for us. We built our stadium, right, TQL in the West End, and there's a neighborhood that was already there, right? And we go down there on match days, and we spend our money there. We park there. We walk around the neighborhoods there. They're hosting us, and we were trying to think, what's a way that we can give back to that neighborhood? So we have partnered with St. Vincent de Paul. They're a charitable pharmacy right there in the West End. They've been there 150 years. And basically, every dollar we raise tonight, they're able to do it like a 12 times max on that. They can get $12 worth of medicine for every dollar we raise. A lot of that is basically insulin for people who are on the streets, have no access to health care, and need insulin for life. So we're able, every beer you drink tonight saves lives. It is on you. It is on you to be on that. So we have over 40 raffle items in the back, ranging from, we got champagne, we got beer, we have bourbon, we have specialty gifts, we have signed FCC merchandise. We have a Costco starter pack up here in the suburbs.
Ooh, yeah.
You're gonna want to get your hands on that. It's got $50 gift card. Ooh. His and hers Kirkland jogger pants.
Ooh.
I mean, this is some serious stuff. And then also we have a split the pot. Again, 100% of all the proceeds for the raffle split the pot goes straight to St. Vincent de Paul, the charitable pharmacy. 10% of all drink sales tonight also go there. So we are so glad you're here. And moving on into the season, this is where we do all of our watch parties for FC Cincinnati away matches. So you're welcome to come back here and see some more orange and blue people and cheer them on.
So tell us a little bit more about tonight. I think we have some live music happening later.
Oh, we sure do. In a little bit at 7 o'clock, our very own BOFUS is going to be playing. BOFUS, very popular around here. Mike Heald, one of our board members, is the drummer. and him and Andy have been playing together for like 20 years, all covers, 80s, 90s, little 70s, little mashups, and it's going to get a little messy in here. I'm not going to lie.
Well, can you guys explain a little bit more about, again, Norden and the importance of becoming a member of supporters group, whether it's Norden or anybody else?
Absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. All of the groups, they exist to raise support for FC Cincinnati. We all do it kind of maybe in different areas, or we do it in different ways. We have different like niches that we speak to. For us, we started organizing people around that mostly lived in the northern part of the city, but we have people from northern Kentucky who are part of Norden. We have people from the west side, part of Norden. So it can be anybody, from wherever you're at. We might be as well, being a lot of suburbanites. We have a little bit of a family feel, so you can see a lot of kids here today. We try to be family friendly, but it's really all about, and all the supporter groups, we work together. All of our leadership teams, we work together on some things for the entire club, and it's about organizing, watch parties for away games, for hosting pre-games, the march, the tifos that are going to get. We have a tifo getting painted here in a couple weeks. Very big deal for opening match down at the Bailey. It's all just about the passion of FCC in this city is unparalleled. It started when we have our friend Corben Bone will be on here in just a minute. When guys like him were playing for us passionately and winning matches and building what we see here today, it turned into this. And now we're all riding. We went through 3 kind of rough years in the MLS. I don't know if you remember those. I have forgotten all 3 of those years.
I blacked out.
It's all in the past now.
I start our history last year,
Yep.
And I like where we're going. In fact, this year, I'm pretty sure we're going to be hosting a playoff game. We're not going to have to go anywhere. I feel like that's a thing.
That'd be an amazing truth, right? Speak it into existence.
Exactly.
The birth of Brandon Vasquez.
That's it.
Love it.
That's it.
Well, Chris, we appreciate your
Yeah.
time. And guys, before we get Corben up here again, thank you all so much, Norden, and everything they do. And please buy your raffle ticket. So thank you very much for
Buy
having
it
us, Chris.
and buy your beer. Drinking beer tonight saves lives. It's on
Hellas
you.
real. Hellas real.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. All right, real quick, guys, we're going to get Corben Bone up here. As Chris said, everything's towards the back of the building. If you want to get your Norden scarves, the silent raffle items, you do have ticket prices on your tables. $5 equals 5 tickets. $10 equals 11. $20 equals 25. So spend your money. All proceeds going to St. Vincent de Paul. Make sure to get your beer. Of course, I love Mama Bear's Max Kitchen over here. The great people. Woo! We love your food. Make me feel healthy today. So thank you guys so much. Go, please spend your money there as well and have a good evening. So without further ado, I think this is the guy you all have been waiting for. Our, I guess, newest retired former FC Cincinnati player, the most appearances in FC Cincinnati, most minutes were FC Cincinnati, Corben Bone.
Oh, happy to be here. Thank you. Is this a good distance? How do I sound?
You're good, Corben.
Okay.
I think we're all good. Everybody can hear Corben fine?
All right.
All right, man. Well, again, this has been an incredible journey. I remember having the first ever Cincinnati Soccer Talk episode and being like, okay, well, we got Corben Bone and Sharpie here in the middle of the field. And who's going to go around Corben Bone? So what you been up to in your time? I know you spent some time down south in Louisville and you just retired here in
Yep. Yeah.
December?
Yeah, newly retired. I got sick of driving. I actually never left. I stayed in Cincinnati. We didn't move or anything because my wife's worked and the kids and stuff. So, yeah, we stayed here, and I was driving back and forth, and that's a lot of miles on the car. And so, just hung up the boots and happy to be back with FC Cincinnati. I think I miss, the fans and the atmosphere and just being here around the club in general. I love Cincinnati, and so happy to be back.
Great. But you're not hanging up the boots permanently, right? Because you guys have a big competition coming up, $1 million tournament. We talked to some of your old friends about it.
I saw that. That was cool. They got this tournament coming up. Kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. For those that don't know, I guess it's called TST 7v7 tournament for $1 million. And some pretty big teams coming out. There's 32 teams in the whole tournament. I think they've announced maybe 8 or 9 so far. But like Wrexham AFC, Clint Dempsey's got a team. A couple of the U.S. women's and men's national team legends are playing. Tons of really fun teams. Yeah, it's in Cary, North Carolina in June. So yeah, I'll have to bring the boots back out for that one and go for that $1 million.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds can put together a team, but I don't think he can put together what you guys have done, which is former FC Cincinnati All-Stars.
Yes.
Wrexham AFC's got like nothing.
We got a good squad. It's going to be super fun. We've been on Zooms and chatting again and all that kind of stuff. So it's been fun to get us all back together.
Now, I know some of those guys have been out a couple years. Do you have them like hitting the treadmill?
Oh yeah. We have a chart that we monitor and make sure that everyone is hitting all those milestones of where they need to be. No, myself, I've been playing every Tuesday night, so okay. I gotta ramp that up.
Obviously, Mike Millay is like, I'm just doing this just to get back into shape, man.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's like, he works out like every day, super hard, and so he's probably in the best shape out of all of us right now. But yeah, I think we're gonna get together a little bit before the tournament and play some practice games and try and get some chemistry back. And yeah, it'll be a fun little tournament. It'll be nice to. It's very unique. You know, you play those games in practice, and they're always super fun and competitive. But to put it on a scale like that, it'll be a really fun tournament. Obviously, people will be going for $1 million, so who knows what kind of tackles will be thrown, and the competitiveness I'm sure will come out once you're like, oh, this is gonna be fun, and then you start playing and you get into it. So
it's kind of cool that you guys are all embracing the Cincinnati mentality there with the Natty SC. With your retirement, you've also become director of soccer in the community.
Yeah.
A club ambassador for FCC. Can you maybe go into more detail of what that type of role involves?
For sure. First of all, I'm very grateful to be back with the club and to have that title because, my story a little bit after, spending a lot of my career elsewhere and coming here, it was really, and the success I had here, it changed my life in so many different ways, soccer-wise, my personal life. So I owe a lot to Cincinnati in general, the club, the city, the people here. I want to give that back, and this is a great way to do that. There's guys like Omar Cummings that have already been starting to do that with programming, going out to schools and doing that kind of stuff. So, for me to kind of follow in line in his footsteps and for the club to take me back in and give me that ability to go out and share soccer and fun and encouragement and just how great the game can be for everyone, especially with a club like FC Cincinnati that embraces that. I think from day one that was part of their plan. So to be a part of that is I'm super grateful, and hopefully we can continue to grow and do more things. We're starting camps up this year, which would be great for ages 7 to 17, then some elite camps. So just like building that and continuing to expand in the community. And that's one of my roles and a thing that I'm very passionate about. Growing up, I did a ton of, extra work, and I looked up to a lot of people, and then coming here and having the success with the club, I want to give that to the youth so they also have that opportunity, with soccer in America right now, it's growing so fast. Giving that back to young players in Cincinnati, I think is a main motivation of mine.
Okay. We see guys like Andrew Wiedemann who became an agent and now are selling hipster stuff out west.
They sell anything out?
Golfing. Golfing.
So what's is the plan for Corben Bone to stay in soccer? What's the goal? You want to be a coach, an agent?
Yeah, I think I love the game very much. It's been a part of my life for so long now, and it's interesting. You get to know it so well. It's the thing I know best. So I would love to stay in it. It's something I'm truly passionate about. Coaching will be interesting. I don't know if I'll coach a team. I've always kind of gravitated towards smaller group training or like camps, things like that, where you can kind of intimately get into one player's head. I think coaching a team could be really fun. Right now, that's not something that I'm passionate about, but we'll see what the future holds. But soccer will definitely always be a part of my life.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
You'd always go into management, be like the next Geoff Birding.
Yeah, I would love to be the next Geoff Birding. But yeah, I would love to stay in the game, especially with FC Cincinnati. Obviously, the growth of soccer in America is huge. FC Cincinnati, is following suit. So who knows where this club will go and soccer in general will go. And so I would love to be a part of that journey wherever it takes me. I'll go where the wind blows me.
Cool.
Yeah, not only is it exciting to see how you're going to be a part of this club in the future, it's always been special at FC Cincinnati with how accessible players are, former players are, and the bonds we've made with you.
Yeah.
Flip side, like I remember watching you on the field scoring that amazing cracker of a goal in the playoff game versus Nashville. Like, what were some of your maybe favorite moments or moments that these guys didn't all get to find out about, like whether it be a moment in training or something like that?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. That goal, I love that goal.
It was beautiful.
So hyped on that goal, and then they scored right after that, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? I just scored in overtime to win. They're supposed to win the game."
Yeah.
And then they come back and answer, and it goes to pens. But that was a huge moment. We were just watching some highlights back on the TV, like obviously the Open Cup run. Those games were just incredible, and the goal, specifically the goal that I scored in the New York Red Bulls, like personally, that was a huge moment for me. So many moments. I think the cool thing to see now, obviously, because we were all here from the very beginning, the inception, is to still be here, to come back and to drive around the city, to visit different places, and to see how much it's grown is like incredible to me. Like driving down Central Avenue and seeing TQL Stadium is mind-blowing to me after like playing at Nippert and then like seeing all that grow and just like reliving memories is so fun. And then obviously like the people that have been involved. I think it's amazing. I was just talking to come back and like my boss right now is Kate Solomon, who has been there from the beginning, who I know like very well.
Yeah.
So to have that personal relationship, I think that speaks volumes to the club, that you can have that within the city, and they cherish those things. And so I think just the the attention to the loyalty and the wanting to be a part of something bigger than yourself is something that I think has really resonated with me, and that I've latched onto. And so there's been a ton of memories. I think the people and the places around the city that I can that are nostalgic to me have been. It's just so fun to be a part of, and obviously to create new ones now that I'm back in a different role will be huge. So we'll see.
Speaking of things that existed before your guys' time, or sorry, after your guys' time, Mercy Healthplex, like the training facility is now like super cool, super awesome. Do you get like a gym membership card so you can still go in there?
I haven't worked out in that gym yet. I'm still trying to get the invitation from Austin Berry.
I would be pushing to get in
Austin
there.
Berry's been telling me he's got a workout plan for me that I can go in there anytime I want, and so I'm a little afraid of that workout plan. But maybe I need to go now that the CST is going. So I don't know. But yeah, Mercy Health. I mean, obviously, incredible facility. So I'm kind of in between right now. I'm at like the 4th Street office a little bit, and I go over there occasionally. But it's an incredible place to be, and we're going to be running some camps there as well, some elite camps. So that'll be fun to get out there on the field and be a part of that. But so many things have happened since I've left and now come back. And so to see it, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah,
I always think that's just a tad bit unfair because you guys helped build this club and it made it what it is, and then all the money came in.
Well,
You're shading the man here. This guy started the first ever Major League Soccer match for FC Cincinnati here. It is a story that I still remember it like it was yesterday. I'm standing there with Chris Marshall, and we're all packed into BC's Bottle Lodge an hour before kickoff for the Seattle game, and we see Corben Bone's name on the team sheet. And I think every single person in that bar is like, holy crap. Like, one of our own starting Seattle. What was it like when Alan came to you and told you, Corben, you're in the 11 that day?
Yeah, you probably found out like an hour later than I did. It was kind of crazy. Like, it was amazing to start that game. I wasn't really in the team in preseason. Hadn't really talked much about starting. Didn't really know what kind of role I was going to play, if I was coming off the bench, if I was going to be in the 18. And then like a few days before the game, like I was with the starting group. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, I mean, I wasn't even with the first team for a lot of the preseason. But then I was, starting as the number 10, and I was like, okay, here we go. And just personally, that journey for me, when I left MLS and came, and I traveled a little bit, and then ended up in Cincy, and you knew the goals that they always wanted to get back to the MLS, and that was a part of my goal as well. So to eventually achieve that, get back and sign for the MLS year, and then start in the first game was it was pretty emotional for me, and I was super proud of myself, to be honest, because that's a goal that is difficult to achieve.
Yeah.
I think it's better now. I think the USL guys, the talent there is getting a look.
Yeah.
But back then it was difficult.
It was.
And so I was really proud. And obviously, they start the game and Leo hits that banger, and you're like, oh my, yes.
I was about to say, do you remember anything from that goal? Or
Oh
was it a
my
blur?
gosh, unbelievable! Like, yeah, I mean that's how you want to start the season. You're a new franchise. You're playing at Seattle, and this guy hits a full volley from the top of the box, and you're like, okay.
Well, somebody knocked off like a whole shelf of like beer bottles at BC's that day,
Yeah.
so we all got pretty soaked. We were pretty excited.
Oh man, unbelievable goal. And yeah, I mean, listen, the rest of it, you know how it went. They were a good team.
They were really good. They still are good.
Yeah, they're always good. But yeah, just to be on that field, and it's unbelievable stadium to play in, like at night with the lights, and it was that was a great experience despite the result. That moment, I think for the club and then for me personally, getting back and starting that first game was something that I'll always remember for sure.
I mean, 100 and I had 110 appearances. I think there was one or two missing there. I think the next closest is Jimmy at 104, and then Nick Haglin at 95. And then it drops off.
You might pass him.
It's like Yuya Kubo and
Yeah, he'll probably
Alan Cruz.
He'll probably pass me this year.
I don't know about Cruz, but we'll see.
Yeah.
where you certainly again kind of when John Hartz was named, and then you get Corben Bone and Austin Berry, and you brought a ton of credibility to the club, and I think all of us here. I mean, I've seen Bone jerseys. I've seen we make tifos and two pulls and all that stuff, and you've been an extremely important part, and we can't wait to see where your future holds. So
Thank you.
as long as you're going to go 2-footed into Clint Dempsey,
I don't think there's red cards. I don't think you
Really?
you're not allowed to slide tackle.
You're not allowed
allegedly.
to side tackle. Okay. Maybe you can get a red card standing up, I think.
You played at Louisville City, so I'm sure you learned all the dark arts too. So.
Yeah. To be fair, my last appearance ever as a professional athlete was a red card. So
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So
was
that-
that one of the playoff games?
that was the conference final.
Oh.
And
Go out swinging.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know if that was a good move, but that's all right.
Guys, have anything else?
I mean, I'm a big fan. I remember when you scored the two late goals against Toronto FC2 on your birthday.
Yeah.
My birthday.
That's the one that stands out for me. Is like we've made it. We know we're going to get to the pinnacle this year.
Yeah.
You didn't go all the way, but that was like the big one that I remember.
That was a great year. I have a weird streak of scoring on my birthday. Tommy G always tweeted me out on my birthday. We would always play a game on my birthday, and Tommy G would be like, I can't wait for Corben to score tonight. And then it would happen. I don't know. Something about my birthday.
We media people really appreciate when you just hand us headlines like that. It's like,
yeah.
scoring on your birthday is an easy one.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate all the kind words. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, man. We got to talk to the club about getting you on some radio broadcasts and stuff. So you got some talent here. I think.
I'd be happy to. Yeah. Anytime. I'm here.
Yeah, I'd love to see a game with him and Jimmy. Being called. Who would be the play guy? Who'd be the color guy?
Yeah. No,
We
I
can switch off.
Yeah. You go.
think that would work.
I would love to do that. That'd be fun.
Awesome. Well, everybody, let's
Tap our
give
connection
Corben
to
Bone a
Apple.
big
Yeah,
round of
that's true. Yeah,
applause.
talk to people.
We love a Corben Bone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, my man, and we'll
for
have to
having
talk
me.
to you pretty soon. All right.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
See you guys.
All right, one last round of applause for Corben Bone.
We're gonna have Jason come on up here, my man. Real quick, guys. Again, a special shout out to everybody here with Norden, and please go support their raffle and everything for the St. Vincent Paul in the West End. Again, you can get your Release the Norden scarf, $20 back at the merch booth. So go back there. And again, if you have, I know it's pretty nice outside and it's supposed to get like 70 this week, but if you can, guys, please check out CST sponsor Apollo Home. They're a premium home service provider in Cincinnati. They pride themselves on awesome customer service, expert technicians, 7-day-a-week service. For a limited time, they're offering a $39 furnace tune-up. Keep your HVAC system running this winter, going into the spring with a $39 tune-up. Again, ApolloHome.com. Please support Apollo Home as they help us send people to matches and keep the train on the tracks. Jason, how you doing, my man?
Doing great. Guys, we've got a game in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was like, well, exactly 14 days.
Yeah,
We've got
exactly 14
Today,
days. We're going to be
in
at
2
TQL
weeks, we
Stadium.
will be in the stadium.
That's insane.
Most importantly, it's a home game
Exactly.
in 2 weeks. The first time ever that we've hosted the first game of the year at home.
Soccer and Cincinnati in February. Who would have thought?
We've done it before in early March. We can do it again.
I'm trying to think what the earliest match that I've ever been to for FCC. It might have been like that first ever like Xavier like preseason match, like in year 1 of USL. I don't know if that was the earliest. I mean, are you going to be warm enough in this thing? It looks like it's going to be 48 that day. So
I'll be perfectly fine with it. Although I'll be in the press box for that one, I think, the first one. But
Are you going to wear that to the press box? Then?
I might maybe very momentarily just before they escort me out. Now, I have a feeling this might be retired at some point this year. I've been told it's a little tacky sometimes, but
never.
No, no.
Having run press boxes, if Don Cherry could have got away with what he wore for so many years, I think you're going to be fine.
a good point.
Yeah, I think you could probably go to the symphony beforehand, then go over to the press box.
I'll like have an ascot and a really nice, maybe smoke one of those long cigarettes that has like a holder.
Yeah.
I'll just go all the way.
You know what the best thing about this season is? This is the first FC Cincinnati season that we haven't been looking for a miracle in the offseason to come fix our team because we finally have our stars up front and they didn't change. They almost did, but they didn't change.
They almost did. Yeah, we're still waiting on one to fly back.
Yeah. We still need missing Brenner, but he's supposedly back for the 2 weeks.
I mean, really, the only offensive piece that's sort of left is Calvin Harris, maybe, but he really wasn't playing that much to begin with.
Yeah. So FC Cincinnati is a playoff team returning into the year with those pieces, now with that chemistry that we don't have to build in the first half of the season like we did last year. How encouraging is that for you guys?
I mean, I'm super encouraged. The Killer Bees are back. Brenner, Brandon, Bariel, they're all three back.
Ooh, I like that.
I know, right? It
Killer
sounds like
Bees.
that's a two-pole
But
idea.
Costa,
Bacasta.
Nuopodo.
There's some bees in there. But yeah, it's a great problem to have. We haven't had to worry about a coaching staff for the first time in forever. I mean, stability is nice. And you go into the season with a little bit of hope. And if the guys can do half as well as they did last year, I think we're going to be in good shape.
now guys, you can yell at us if this is the CST jinx. So please.
I mean, we still got a lot to work on. I mean, the defense, and we saw it with the results from the preseason against Philadelphia. They let in 3 goals. The defense has a lot that still needs to pull together. They've got some new pieces back there. We're hoping that Miazga, is back as fit as he was at the end of last year. So there's still a little bit to work on, but it's rosier this time around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, I'm just looking at last year. We still had Brenner, Acosta, and we didn't know Vasquez was what he was. And it was all about raising that floor. Now we put a good, decent amount of talent in the middle of the roster. We replaced Alan Cruz and a couple other players, and you put in Santi Arias, a right back, who, we'll see what that goes. Marco Angulu, who I am very bullish about, Mascara in center back. And so that middle of the roster that didn't give us a ton of production last year, I'm excited to see how they let us go from like gear 3, gear 4 to gear 5. Last year we saw it in the last third of the season when Yakuba found his super sub role.
Yeah.
We've never had the depth quality for this team.
Despite FC Cincinnati making the playoffs, if you look at the weakest spot last year, you can pinpoint some defensive errors, but you can also pinpoint the biggest one, in my opinion, which was depth. We had those 11 guys, and then it was a cliff. And so this year, that's been the big goal, is to actually have talent that can come in off the bench, get those goals if you're down, find a midfield that won't fall off about after 60, 70 minutes. And then, they finished 5th place. So you're looking at one better, hopefully.
I think arguably you can say they finished 4th because they beat the 4th place team afterwards. So, they've got a lot more of a ceiling than they did last year. And I think they have less of a floor than they had last year as well. So they definitely have a lot working with them. Granted, they're also going to have to try to start mixing in more of their homegrowns. You know, what role does Kimi Ordonez play? What role does Steven Jimenez play? How does the FC2 and FC Academy players get themselves into this team? That's something that I'm interested in seeing as this season goes along.
I was kind of hoping that Corbin would say, "Yeah, I've been out to Mercy Health. I'm teaching Malik Pinto and these FCC2 guys how to do some dirty magic, place. Get some veteran experience there."
I think you've all made great points, and I agree with Geoff. Getting these FCC2 guys up is going to be key this year. That was something I think that was missing last year. Is like Boston said, was the depth, but not just the depth. There was the depth of the academy guys that we were bringing in. We didn't see a ton of Kimi Ordonez. We didn't see a ton of guys outside of maybe the U.S. Open Cup or that Leagues Cup preview. I think that's going to be key because we have a lot of games this year. We have a couple extra tournaments this year, and we're going to need not just the normal first-teamers on the bench to come in and excel, but we're going to have to incorporate some of those academy guys this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Not to mention, there's a whole bunch of new games, a whole new tournament.
Exactly.
The U.S. Open Cup, which hopefully we make a decent run in.
20 teams in the playoffs.
We don't know that officially
Columbus
yet.
will make it.
MLS is talking about redoing the playoffs. I don't know. One game versus 3 games. Are you guys excited about 3 game legs?
Nope.
If we can beat Columbus and all those, yes.
I'd have to see.
Nashville, yes.
I'd have to see really what it looks like. If it's one of those things where you're depending on all this exhausted talent to put in 3 more games at the end of the season, it's going to depend on a lot of things.
I think if they were to set it up to where maybe like the last 2 teams play those 3 game legs and then they qualify for a knockout stage, maybe I could justify it. But MLS has messed around the playoff format so many times. We finally got it where it's fun, single knockout. Well, I get Apple wants more content, but no, we don't need to mess with it anymore.
Let's bring back goalie wars. We'll do that for the shootout instead of PKs.
Guys, we're talking about the floor, the ceiling of the team. What's one player that you're looking for to make that jump into the next stratosphere, whether it's existing or new player, that's going to be like, hey, Obi Wobodo, like type of impact?
I'm going to say Mascara. I'm really interested to see what he brings as a center back. Obviously, his highlights are what they are. They're purposely cut to make him look spectacular. But if we can get some good play out of the back from him, I think it's going to really help out the team. And we needed extra depth at center back this coming year. So I'm excited to see what he can bring to the team. I
have a little bit of, I don't know about Mascara. I mean, we brought in players that we thought would fill that same role. Viacia, Tyler Blackett. They all were sort of brought in with the same idea that this guy would be a third starter. He would be someone who comes in on the left. And they left without a trace.
Yeah.
They didn't perform up to their speed.
Good point, yeah.
We'll see. My player, and unfortunately you said his name already, would be Nwobodo, Obina Nwobodo. He came in last year, and he really changed the midfield creatively, artistically. He put a lot more muscle into it. Yeah, he was bleeding out yellow cards when we really didn't need them bled out, but I think he brought a little bit more of strength and swagger in the middle. And really the only people that were giving him credit for that were the Matt Doyles or the David Gosses, who were witnessing this, but nobody was really talking about his name outside of that. And this year, now that he's starting at the beginning of the year and giving you a full 34 games, I think he's going to be the difference maker. I think he has the capacity to get into an all-star team.
Yeah. Never count out the Swiss Army knife that is Kubo.
Oh, he's been my player like every year, so I'm not picking him anymore.
But he will make a difference, and it will be in an area that you do not think it will be in, because they will fit him in. We actually all were shocked to see FC Cincinnati keep him. We thought he was gone. He had a high salary. We didn't know exactly where he fit after last year, and they brought him back. I think that's because he's a plug and play.
The good thing about him at the end of last year is that he was specifically the substitute for Moreno. Mm-hmm. Whenever Moreno played his 60 minutes, Kubo came in, ate up the turf for 30 minutes, gave you everything he had in that engine. This year, we're not sure if Moreno's going to be a starter. So we don't know if Kubo's going to come in and be a replacement for, Angulo, or if Moreno does. So I'm hoping that Noonan doesn't go back to the Yopstam book and put him into areas that he doesn't belong in.
Well, he's played so many different positions.
Yeah, now
By this
now he's
point,
good to
he
go.
should be proficient.
But consistency was golden for him last year.
Yes.
If he puts him in places that he's not sure where he's going to go,
Exactly.
then that's going to be trouble.
I feel like you have to take a shower after saying Yopstam or Iranyan. So I can't believe nobody said Marco Angulo. I'm very bullish on him in the midfield. But I think Alvaro Barreal. I think this guy's ready to take a jump. Coach Noonan has said as much in his interviews how well he's been playing off that left side. Whether he starts a left wing back, moves up to a left midfielder role later in the year, depending on formation switches. I just think this is the year where he proves himself to take the next jump. I mean, it's kind of that's what his U22 roster designation was for, is to have him here for 3 years and jump abroad, and it's time for him to put up or shut up.
What numbers would you want to see from him to be content?
He had good numbers last year. I still think you got to probably have 5 assists, 5 goals. He's talented enough. The only thing, when you saw Alvaro Barreal get to the far end line and cut the ball back in, he was significantly better than stopping at that final third, 20 to go, and cutting it over to Acosta. We need him to be another avenue for creation. If he can do that, he's going to make some money somewhere.
Yep.
So real quick, before we jump into our next topic, I think she's ordering food right now, but I do want to give a shout out. Laurel Thaler is in the house tonight. Can we give a big shout out to Laurel Thaler, Queen City Press?
She's over here trying to get her mac and cheese.
I know. I'm so sorry. We were just at a point to call you out, Laurel. Again, she's a great asset to the FC Cincinnati community. So go check her out at Queen City Press and give her a high five and a big shout out tonight. We talked about continuity and everything. This isn't the first offseason where we've brought back the entire staff, but the majority, I guess,
feels like it.
Yeah,
almost.
He's not on the hot seat for the first time in the offseason. What do you guys make of that everybody's back and we're not resetting for the 18th time?
Well, consistency is key. I mean, with any team, especially at the top of the front office and then the top of the coaching staff. And it makes me happy because we saw what this team was able to do on short notice last year. They didn't have as much time to prepare. This year, they've had, from the end of the season to preseason, they've had an entire season with these guys. They've seen what they can do. They've taught them what they want them to do. I think Dom Kinnear is probably the most underrated member of the staff, especially when you hear what Brandon Vasquez did when he talked about his improvement. So for me, it's super important, and I think we have one of those coaching staffs. I think that a couple of years people are going to be talking about when.
Watch your mouth.
Fingers crossed when other openings come around. Hopefully that never happens.
He's been a head coach candidate many times.
Yes.
Yet he's sitting here as our assistant coach.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's also look at the rest of the teams in the East. I mean, Columbus had to make their big change by stealing away from another team. And so now both of those teams could be in a state of flux for the entire season. You've got Chicago, DC forcing themselves to show that they can prove with new coaches that they can excel. We're not in that situation where we're pressured to show people right away that the offseason, that we didn't have to reinvent the wheel in the offseason. We have everything in place. And I think it's going to take a lot of the stress off of both the staff, the players, and the fans as well.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about many years where things are changing, how badly we wanted it not to. We just wanted some kind of chemistry, and we think that's very, very important. I'm actually, from an experiment of our previous offseason voices, just interested in were we right? Is that true? How much does that matter? I think we're going to find out real fast in February and March because FC Cincinnati is traditionally a team that gets a slow start.
Well, we had 12 wins, 13 draws last year. We had 9 losses, which was the third fewest in the East. So you just hope that those coaches now have a full offseason to implement the best path forward, where last year we were trying to do that 4-4-2 diamond and got curb stomped down in Austin. So hopefully a better result with the Texas team to start off the year. But
Luckily, it's a Houston guy.
And they're coming up here to the cold.
They got hitchy, so we'll see.
Last year we were missing a few pieces. Brenner
Right.
was a little iffy to start.
Yeah.
We don't know how Brenner's going to look coming up the next few weeks, and that sort of gives me a few of the jitters. I'm hoping that we have him available for game one as well.
Yeah, if you asked me for my first team I would want to face for game one as kind of a gimme, Houston's in my top 5.
Give me.
Don't.
No one is a gimme in Major League Soccer.
We're gonna sacrifice you, pal. We're talking about Brenner, of course. Our very own Justin Blair was on with Coach Pat Noonan on Friday. Coach Noonan informed everybody that Brenner did return to Brazil, is still in Brazil. He was down there for the 3-day break, but his timing in Brazil coincided with a family emergency, so he's not yet come back unless Laurel Failer wants to break a story. she's like,
Just completely.
she's like, go on Patreon.
I'm trying to get my mac and cheese.
No, of course, he's been gone for a week. Miazga's returning to the pitch this week.
Yeah.
So, I guess, guys, what's your biggest concern going into that match? I mean, we feel great, but there's still always a little bit of worry. Jason?
My biggest worry, I mean, if I had one player to choose, like who am I more worried about, it would probably be Miazga, just because he's coming off of a legit injury where he required surgery. He's missed more preseason. He's probably going to need a little bit more time to come back. I think Brenner, we were okay without him to start off the season last year, but I think he can come back with a renewed sense of purpose and with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, because if he produces, he's not going to be here at the end of the year.
That's what we hope for.
That's what he's hoping for, and I'm not really worried about it. I think hopefully Miazga gets all better and we can have him on the back line.
Or if we're saying chemistry is the key, then you have to look at those 2 back wings that we were changing up a lot this year, and so that's going to be my area of concern going into the start of the season. How are those defenders? How is that new line looking? It's not going to be the exact same thing we've rolled out.
I hate to bring you guys down, but I am concerned about Brenner. I mean, he was not mentally all there to start the season last year, and we got stomped in Austin, rightfully so. So I want us to have those 2 options up at the top. As much as we're like, oh yeah, we've got Baji, we've got Santos to back him up. Baji didn't have a great season last year.
No.
He was forced to play too many starting roles, and I think that affected his performance. Santos, I think he plays better coming off the bench than he does starting as well. So I would like to have Brenner be there so that the attention isn't all on Vasquez. I think when Vasquez was the only threat up front, the other teams managed to figure that out.
Yeah, he's amazing, but you can take him out of it if he's all your fear. That's why Acosta and Brenner are so important.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason Brenner was so successful last year. If you look at his season highlights, how many goals did he score off of an assist from Vasquez? Because guys defenses were being drawn to Brandon Vasquez. So
he really came on at the end of the year too because of that.
Yeah.
And getting Brenner in there earlier gives him more time to show what he can do and makes him more marketable to the EPL, to the top 5 leagues in Europe. It will make his going price go up. Great for the team, great for Brenner.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. I think we got pretty good insurance policies. I'm a Don Baji fan club president. I love my Don Baji. I'm very hopeful. I mean, that guy did everything you could ask for in that first third of the year, playing like left back and random. So I'm excited to see a fully healthy Don Baji, fully healthy Sergio Santos. He's about as brittle as this glass cup, but we'll see. But again, I'm really concerned about our defense, our center backs. I think our midfield's markedly better. Are we going to bring in another center back? Is Mascara, who has played 15 professional games in 2.5 years. We'll see what happens there. But I think Matt Miazga needs to get into gear these next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, though. I think we're in a much better spot when you look at how much money we had tied up in those 2 center backs last year, Jeff Cameron and Tyler Blackett, and they didn't play.
Yeah.
I think overall,
Speaking of money, I feel like that's the elephant in the room now. FC Cincinnati still has a decent chunk of change.
3 senior roster spots, roughly $1.5 million between GAM, TAM, thank you, ma'am, and salary cap space. So there's a ton of room to bring in some good players. Now, we don't know how much Arias made. We can guess. But, yeah, if you go to CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com, go on our salary tracker. If you have questions there, that's an informed guesstimate, I guess you could say. But there's a lot of space to still make some quality improvements. So we'll see what happens. I think, when rosters shake out over the next 2 weeks, guys get cut. I think Albright's smart enough to go out and get somebody.
The thing that's important for soccer fans to remember is compared to NFL or MLB, MLS teams are still shaping their rosters as those first 3 months go.
The window's open to April?
I
Mid-April?
think is it a little later than that? I'm not sure.
I think
Mid's later.
I think the summer window does open in April.
Yeah.
The summer opens in July.
The window closed.
Yeah.
I think it
you're
is
right,
something
it's
like April.
April.
But unfortunately, we don't have that allocation order anymore to take it full advantage of. We'd have like another 500,000 GAM.
Yeah, but I won't be shocked to see FC Cincinnati making moves in the summer, especially if one of our big guys up top end up transferring out.
I think you probably will see Brenner before Vasquez. But either way, as long as both don't leave and leave us with a big hole up top, I'm all right with letting go of one.
All right. Well, we got about 10 minutes left in the show here, guys. I think it's now time for us to put our hearts on the paper and prognosticate on what we think the year's going to be like. So
I was not good with this last year. I don't know.
No one on you.
11th place? Is that what I
most
said?
of you undershot last year. Big time.
I didn't do it because I knew that, I didn't want to jinx this. Jeremy Miller's always picking us first. So, all right, guys, this is my first one. Will Brenner, and again, if y'all chime in here, will Brenner and Vasquez be with FC Cincinnati the whole season?
Woo. No.
No?
Vasquez, yes. Brenner, no.
Yeah, that's the easy answer.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Brenner actually had his name going out there at Nottingham Forest granted, Nottingham Forest is trying to purchase everybody in Europe at some point. But I think once that window opens up, you've got a full season starting in Europe, you'll have a lot more people be able to make better judgments with the likes of Brenner, the likes of Vasquez. And I think Brenner is more of a marketable guy for over there. He's still young. He's still moldable. He's got a lot of Brazilian talent out there as well. That
He's got one name.
You say that. Granted, we all call Locadia by his one name as well. But,
DJ? Oh, sorry. DJ.
So I think you're going to see probably Brenner. I would rather have one, not both.
I think Vasquez, honestly, his name has not been bandied about as much. Jesse Marsh no longer coaches Leeds, so he's not going to go there. But I think this time next year, we could be talking about who fills the gap left to striker by both of those guys.
King Ordonez.
Who knows?
If we lose both of them, it's because we are a victim of our own success.
Yeah.
And in that way, I think financially we'll be okay, but we'll still be looking for answers.
We might see ourselves in the same place that New York City is at. Tati Castellanos dealt to Girona. Heber dealt to Seattle. They have a big hole up front there, too, and they're not expected to be as good this year as they were last year or the year before.
Yeah.
Well, Partizan Belgrade got smacked today, so, they might be back in the Acosta sweepstakes, so we'll see. All right, final FCC standings in the East. Geoff, I'll start with you and work this way.
I already, stamped my approval on my
Did we publish this yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We got this coming out on Cincinnati Soccer Talk this week, next week?
Yeah, this week.
I don't know if I'm going to change it between now and then, but right now, I'm saying, the heck with it. We're coming in first place this year.
Oh.
First place, Eastern
First place.
Conference champs or Shield. We'll do that next.
And then we lost to Philadelphia in the preseason, who I think is the better team. But last year we showed that we can beat the better team at home. We can equal the better team on the road. We could have won that game in Philadelphia in the playoffs last year. So I feel we still have a lot to prove against Philadelphia.
Just like baseball, if the pitcher's only throwing curveballs during
Eventually,
spring
you're going to
training.
hit one for a home run.
Well, I would say, yeah. So you never know how it's going. I think, and don't hate on me, I think Brenner's gone in the summer. So I think we're going to have, yes, sir, Mark, thank you. Third place. I think it's pretty respectable. Home playoff game?
Yeah.
Oh, nobody's clapping
All right.
for me. Nobody's clapping for me.
Number 3 is a weird number to put there. It's either you're the 4th playing the 5th, or
They just don't clap because I'm the soulless ginger. That's what it is.
Well, some of us can't. Some of us,
who do you have ahead of them?
Philadelphia, I think, is going to be there. I don't know the other one.
Do you think it might be Orlando? They put a lot of good talent in there.
Orlando and
East is weird
Miami.
this
I don't know. That kind of scares me.
Toronto.
Oh yeah, Toronto's
Toronto.
good.
Can't forget about Toronto.
You know what my surprising pick for the year is? That I think Nashville, and if it's 7 teams, I think Nashville and Columbus are fighting to get in the playoffs. I think if it's 9 teams, they're probably in. But I think those 2 teams, like, they're getting ranked 2nd and 3rd, and I don't see it.
no.
I think
Don't see it.
I think they're going to snap the pool cue and be forced to fight each other for that last spot. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your guys' optimism, but I'm putting us right where we were, 5th place. Somebody's got to bring the room down a little bit.
The fact that you're saying 5th is a negative is incredible.
Yeah, well, I think we start the year better, but finish it worse.
It's got handed a glass of Motorola. It's good, though.
I can't remember if I put 2nd or 3rd in our prognostications. So I'll say 2nd, only because right now Philly is the only team that I think did not lose a lot. But I could see Toronto being competitive. You never know with NYCFC, and Inter Miami could be pretty good this year. But I can see us finishing 2nd, so I'll stick with that. I think I put 3rd in the article though. So
I do think Philly is under threat of being deconstructed in the summer
that's a good
with
shout.
Mbiza and the other guy on the fullback.
Kai Wagner.
Thank you, Wagner. Yeah,
The thing is, though, Europe didn't want Kai Wagner. That's the issue. That's really weird about it.
third-tier Germany, right?
But I think my prognostications go out the window if Messi goes to Miami. I think
But will
first
he
place doesn't
play?
He'll play. I
And
mean,
how much?
he might have a Gareth Bale type of situation, but
Yeah.
he'll play.
Can you imagine if we host Miami in a playoff match?
Oh my God.
Don't sell your tickets. No, I'm joking. All right. About 5 more minutes left in the show, guys. All right. Hardware. We had first.
Yeah,
And-
first.
So supporter shield or just Eastern champion?
Sports Shield's a tough one because LAFC has the capacity to drag in so much talent. Whether it's legal or not, we don't know.
Yeah.
But
It's never legal.
there's always a loophole or two. But the fact that they've pulled in some more talent despite shedding talent makes me think that they're just going to grab another supporter shield next year. This year.
Boys?
I think yes. I think we should be competing for the U.S. Open Cup or the Leagues Cup, and that counts as hardware in my book. I don't think Supporter Shield, no. But once you get to the playoffs, I think MLS Cup is well within striking distance. But we definitely should see this team try to get one of those extra tournaments and get a little trophy in the trophy case from one of those.
That's the thing about single elimination. In single elimination, it's a new season in a way of 1 games, and whoever happens to play their best soccer and hit the lucky bell in some instances when it comes down to PKs is going to be the team that wins that thing. So all it really matters at the end of the day is that you get into the playoffs, and then you have just as much a chance as anyone else, as long as your team's capable.
The reason why I asked that question is because every year until now we've all said no shot.
Yeah.
And now it's like finally possible. So I do think if things go well, we still got a lot of mechanisms that we can use to apply, get a Tonga off the books. We'll see what happens and get aggressive. So
I didn't say we wouldn't get hardware. I think we've got a golden boot somewhere in this team.
ooh,
I think if it's not Vasquez, if Sprinter stays here for the entire year, one of them is going to get a golden boot.
Oh, wow.
And I think Acosta might be up there for MVP this year if he plays like he's capable of. He very well could be.
He was on the short list in the middle of the season. Then, some injuries, some yellow card suspension issues. Yeah, but he could be up there.
Awesome. Well, guys, again, thank you very much for having us. So we'll get out of here on our final thoughts in a second. But again, please go back to the back, get your Norden scarves, get your gear, get your raffle tickets. Go to Mama Bear's Mac. I hope my kids aren't yelling at my wife after they got their food. So many families here tonight. So, guys, thank you, parents. Thank you so much for bringing your kids out here and indoctrinating them in the cult that is FC Cincinnati. So, love it. So very excited. And again, thank you all so much for being out here. Guys, final thoughts, any random things, any final words of wisdom out there?
I'm always looked at first for the things here, but it's a weird year, 2023, odd number year, but it is a World Cup year. So, the women's team is going to be playing down in New Zealand and Australia. I know some friends who have already gotten tickets. So that's something to look forward to this year. I hope that a lot of people can put a lot of their attention towards both FCC and also the women's team. Maybe they can bring back some gold as well.
Yeah. Record number of games, I think, this year in Cincinnati as well with Leagues Cup, and we're already guaranteed 2 more additional games. Your FC Cincinnati Tackets are bursting at the seams with tickets. And then if we make the playoffs, of course, even more. So great year for soccer in Cincinnati. Soak it all in.
I'm super excited to get back down to the stadium. It kind of means that winter is over in a sense, even though, yes, it is February. And also, I'm real excited for the in-game bets we can do on DraftKings Sportsbook. Next goal scorer, that sort of thing.
Prop bets.
I've already got a few thought up for the opener. So I'm just real excited to get back down to the stadium. Can't wait.
I guess my final thought is if there's any kids out there, we got some free backpacks. We got some koozies over here. If you guys want some free swag, come on up here, grab some stuff. Again, go back in the back, support Norden, get some Hellas Real or whatever dark beer I was brought. Very excited, and thank you guys so much. Come on up here, guys.
The kids are already coming up here looking.
All right, y'all. Thank you very much for having us, and watch your tackles.
Yeah, watch your tackles.
Watch your tackles, y'all.
Beer koozies for the children.
Beer koozies. No. Juice box.